The Honest Money podcast is brought to you by Prescient Investment Management. We consider everything to give you the advantage. It's the future of investing. Prescient Investment Management is an authorized FSP.
Welcome to Honest Money. I'm Warren Ingram.
Pieter Villiers from Money Marks.
Today we're talking about one of the questions we get asked so much. How much should I save every month? And I mean, we talk about this off air, and you'll ask me the question: Is there a model? Was there a formula? I wish it was so easy. If it was so easy, you and I wouldn't be running a podcast, right? I think maybe just to start, saving. If you can't save anything, that's terrible. And if you save everything, it means you're probably not living. So the answer is somewhere in between. And then it's going to be a few key factors. So there will be, I think, your desired lifestyle when you don't want to work anymore. There will be at the start the desired lifestyle while you're earning an income, and then how long you are prepared to work. Because I think that's maybe one of the things is, if you asked me at 18, when do you want to hit financial freedom and not have to work for a boss and work at all, I probably would have said, if I'm 18 now, I was 25. Can I nice. Stop in? And that would be amazing. I'd have to win a lot of lotteries to do that. But actually, realistically, it's just getting that kind of decision made first. And so I think one of the things you've said quite a few times is understanding why before you make the big calls. So I think in this situation, it's understanding what is the life that you want to live, how much of your life is related to work, and then how much of your life is not work.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about saving. It's as simple as spending less than you earn and saving that difference. So it's when you earn an income, you've got your expenses going off, trying to live below your means, and then using that balance and putting it away. But I think it's also important to distinguish between saving versus investing, because saving, when we talk about saving, I think it's kind of like a broad term that we talk about when we say we're putting money away. But saving works well for short to medium term, maybe goals where like building an emergency fund, saving for travels or saving for a wedding, maybe saving for a car deposit. But you can also not save your way to wealth, to retirement, because there gets a point where you've got too much money in cash in savings that you're going to start paying a lot of taxes and you're going to miss out on opportunity growth. So investing, what we mean by that is we're putting our money into growth assets, property, equity, those things that will really accelerate our wealth. Those are the things that's really going to build that nest egg that we want to achieve. So they both are important and they play a very complementary role in a financial plan. You need both of them, but the concept that we're trying to get across is how much of your salary do you put away per month towards savings and investment goals.
Yeah, and I think maybe also you get in everything in life, you get the moderates and you get the extremists. So for me, the extremists in this conversation are the people that believe in the FIRE movement. So what is that? Financially independent, retire early. The easiest way to reach financial independence, if you want to do it very quickly, is make sure that you spend almost no money every month, because that's really what it's about. If you don't spend a lot every month, then you're not required to spend a lot of money every month. Then you don't need a large amount of retirement money to look after your expenses. I think, if you say, how much do I need? Take your expenses in a year, times it by 20 or 25, and that's probably the amount. So if you spend $1 million a year, that means you need 20 to 25 million of investment assets to look after yourself. You spend 100,000 Rand a year, it's way less. So that's the trick here, is make sure what's important to you. Now it's back to the lifestyle decision. So why do I call these FIRE people extremists? It's not really great fun to live in a tiny 1-bedroom hut on the top of a mountain where you grow your own vegetables and you kind of hunt for your clothes and your food, but you can. And then you can get to the point where you never travel, you're never going to have much in the way of luxury, but if it's important for you that you're not beholden to anybody, you're not working for anybody, go for it. That's how you can reach financial freedom very quickly. Spend no money. And I'm obviously painting the extreme case, but that's what the FIRE movement is all about. So I think I want to distinguish between that, which is, get to the point as quickly as possible where you don't need to work anymore and you can live off your investments, versus saying, okay, I've got a financial freedom goal which might be that I actually do want to be able to travel a bit. I do want to be able to eat out every now and then and drive a decent car and live in a decent house and kind of have some luxuries in life. Then that might be financial freedom. And in which case you're going to spend a lot more money to live that lifestyle. But then you might be saying, well, I don't need to stop work at 45. Maybe I'm happy to stop at 55. So there is a financial freedom goal. And then there is a description of most people in South Africa and right around the world, which is retirement. In other words, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to work until I'm 65, and then they're going to kick me out. Yeah. And hopefully I've got enough money saved and invested by then to live a decent life. I don't really like that one because you're relying a little bit on luck. You're beholden to a lot of other people to get there. So I feel we should be working to financial freedom. We should be taking control of our money and our goals to live the life we want to live.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then there's two components, as you mentioned. There's like let's call this financial freedom, because retirement is maybe a term that's the traditional way of stop at 65. So let's say your fire number is 45. There's now from let's say the age of 20 to 45, and then 45 and beyond, the lifestyle that you want to live. Yes, you can go become an extreme frugalist where you cut down on everything, you recycle everything 3 times and you really cut down on your rands and cents to the point where you save everything. That is not inherently bad, but also remember your 20s and your 30s, that's your prime time in your life. That's where you're never going to have the same energy, the same health, potentially, even time that you have then. To sacrifice all of that to retire early because you don't want to report to someone, is that really more important than kind of like sacrificing a lot of the fun stuff you could have done? So I used to be also one of the fire guys. I want to retire at 35, which I probably not going to happen, but it's a nice thing to think about, because you think like, okay, because I think what we truly want is more that freedom of choice and location and time where we decide what we want to do. What I've realized though in my own journey is it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and you need to enjoy your day-to-day stuff as well. So it has to be a balanced approach, because you can't just be fixated on some specific date in the future, because also it's not in your hands what's going to happen. You may think, you do the calculations now and you think, okay, I need 10 million to do that. And then by the time you get to that 45 or 55, the world has changed. Maybe something happens with the rand, or there's other factors that were outside of your control. And now you have to, in any case, work until 65 or whatever the number is. So just be cautious. It's good to want to save more money. That's something we want to encourage. But you also have to enjoy life whilst you do that. And you have to, again, come back to the lifestyle. What is most important to you? If it is you want to get outside of the hamster wheel, the 9-to-5 grind, that's fine. But then find something that can complement that you can make your own. Yeah. Maybe there's a passion that you want to follow, a side hustle. In today's digital age, you can make money out of anything these days with an online presence. So, start following that route so you have options. Because I think if you have options, that gives you the flexibility and the time freedom that you're actually after, and not just some arbitrary random amount in the bank that could mean a lot or could mean nothing by the time you reach that point.
I think if people can't think of a good example of how life can be derailed through no fault of your own, just think about COVID. You sit there, you work your whole life. I mean, I know quite a few people who were, kind of just got to financial freedom or got to retirement. They were just chilling and they got killed by COVID. And so all their best laid plans are gone and they didn't do anything wrong. And so your point is powerful. Like, you've got to get some enjoyment, some meaning and some purpose from your life while you're accumulating, because deferring all of that is not potentially going to be the best thing that you can do. I'm going to challenge you on one thing is, I'll tell you as a guy who's not 50 yet, I think your prime time is definitely in your 40s. I think the one thing I wanted to say there as well is that someone's listening to us, they're going, come on, man, give me a number. Don't, stop sitting on the fence. So let's throw some numbers around for people to use. I used the extreme example of, saving nothing or saving everything. Both of those are not real. So I think at the very least, aiming to save about 15% of everything you earn is a good number. If you start working or you are working and you are saving 15% of everything you earn, and I should say saving and investing. But if you're putting that aside every month, then the likelihood that you can get to retirement at least and live a decent lifestyle at age 65 onwards for the rest of your time is high. I think you want to try and aim for a little bit more if possible. So I feel the range for most people will be somewhere around 15% of everything they earn to a maximum of 33%. 33% is a big number, and I have you probably met people like that as well that are saving even more than that. That's amazing, and that's well done to them. But I think, if you want a goal and you're sitting here and you're not an extremist and you're not a radical saver and the like, and you're saying, like, how do I know if I'm doing okay? I think somewhere in that range, 15 to 33. When do you go closer to 33? Well, if you haven't been saving at all and you haven't been investing at all, you're going to need to bump it up. Equally, if you've got a shortish time frame because you want to get to financial freedom earlier, then go closer to a third. But if you're saying, you know what, I'm an academic, I've got a great job, I love what I do, I think I can probably do it till I'm 65, and I'm just going to save my 15% and enjoy life in my relatively stress-free, I don't know if academics are stress-free, but relatively stress-free existence, great. Then 15% is a good number, and making sure that, as Pieter said, saving and investing that money is key. The bulk of it should be saved once you've got your emergency fund and all the other, invested once you've got the bulk of your emergency fund stuff done.
Yeah, and making sure that the goal that you're working towards is aligned with what's important, what you value. And if it is, the difference between saving 15 and 20%, going out with friends because you enjoy that, on a Friday evening, that's your way to unwind. Don't sacrifice that because, you feel like pressured because Frikkie at the Braai said he invests 25%. I think that's very important, and something in South Africa especially where we're all guilty of is comparing ourselves to others and thinking like, but look at this guy, he's making it, he's saving this amount, I should also be there. It's you versus you. You've got your own journey. We all have our own circumstances that we had to go through that forms who we are today. And your cards may be different that was dealt than someone else. So start where you can. If you're not able to save 15%, that's also okay. You start with what you can. If it's 1%, you're already starting. It's more so building the habit of putting money away, living below your means, and then increasing that maybe every year as you get a raise or you get a bonus, and finding ways to maybe save a little bit of money, earning a bit more income. And then that differential, if you can get into a habit of putting that away, you will eventually reach the 15%. And if it means that you can't get there and you can't retire at 65, also think, like, especially for young people like myself, if we think about 65, or at least for me, it's another 35 years. We don't know what the world would be like at that point. We're already seeing people living way past 90, 100, maybe 110. We're probably going to become much older than that. So I think the traditional thing about retirement is retiring at the age of 65 and maybe living for 20, 30 years and then popping off. That may change. Maybe we're going to live longer. So maybe we'll have to work longer than 65. There's more so finding purpose in what you do and exchanging that purpose for money, for value that you can contribute. And maybe that's something that you can also touch on with some of your clients. When people reach retirement, they've now made it, got enough to save, but now they've kind of lost purpose in what they contribute to society. What effect do you see that on some people have?
I mean, I think that's a powerful point. Is there is a stage in life when you're working for a financial goal, and if you achieve the financial goal, that doesn't mean you should now go and sit on the couch all day and watch TV. The best one is like, I'm just going to go play golf, or I'm just going to go mountain biking every day because I couldn't do it when I was working. You can only do so much mountain biking, and there is a point when you can't. Your knees and elbows won't allow you anyway. But I think having meaning, nature in life is key. So someone who says, well, I can't do this job. My company's got a compulsory retirement age of 63 or whatever it is. And then I just have to stop. Well, that's not true. What you've got is time and enormous experience. You might just need to repurpose that. And I think finding meaning makes life much better. Otherwise, what happens is you end up sitting there reading too much news, focusing on WhatsApp groups where you get into an echo chamber of like disaster, because no one ever has echo chambers of good news. It's always bad stuff. and focusing on all the things that possibly could go wrong everywhere. And so you find people without purpose become much unhappier. And when I talk to retired people, one of the things that I say is, or people that are planning for retirement soon, is watch out for the triple D: death, divorce, depression. If you don't have meaning and you don't have purpose, then what happens is those three come into your life. If you're saying, well, now I'm going to sit at home and spend it with my partner, they might have plans as well, and they don't include spending every single waking moment with you. They might want to go on their walking groups and their, whatever it is, and share life with you, but not every single moment. So having purpose and reasons to get up. And if it's not about money, you might be volunteering time. You might be saying, I'm going to go and volunteer at a charitable school or an animal rescue or whatever it is that's important to you. It doesn't have to be for money. But if you get to 65 and you can't work every day and you still need money, offering time to small companies where they value your experience and will pay you something gives you purpose, gives you an income. So there is a lot you can do to get purpose and meaning from life. Maybe income generating, maybe not. But gee, that needs to be a real focus once the numbers start to get taken care of.
Yeah. And what I'm also thinking is a lot of people feel like they're so far behind that why even start? Why say for someday I might retire? Maybe I pop off tomorrow. If you're going to have that mindset of not providing for your future because you might not get there, there's always a chance that you will get there. And what now? What then? What's going to happen? You're going to have to be reliant on family, on the government, and those things we want to avoid. So do what you can with what you currently have as best as you can, and build onto that, comparing yourself to your previous self last year. Don't compare to society, and find purpose in what you do now and potentially one day when you retire. And even if you can't get to the numbers that everyone speaks about, you still have options at 65. You could potentially continue working, doing something you enjoy. You could maybe cut your expenses down at that point, live a bit more of a frugal lifestyle. There are different options that you have, but I think what we're all after are those options. We want the options to live, maybe an extravagant lifestyle where we can travel, or maybe not, because now when we're younger, we'd rather do that now when we have the energy. Maybe go on little mini retirements every 5 years where you go on that international trip that you always wanted to. And instead of kind of bulking all of that when you're older, and maybe at that point your health is not where it should be, and you can't enjoy what you always wanted to do. So it's all about balance.
Yeah, it is. And I think maybe also, the comment to people listening who are stuck in that sandwich generation, where they have to look after their siblings, they have to look after their parents, they have to try and look after themselves. So they're stuck in this gap where there is a tremendous need and never going to be enough money. For people in that position, and in our country, because of our history, there are a lot of people in that position. A lot of people that are listening to this will be the first generation that are in formal employment, first generation that are at university, first generation that are working in big companies with big titles, and then just feeling this incredible pressure. And now they're saying, come on, guys, I can't save a cent. I think it's, number one, acknowledge it. It's tough. Suicide rates for people in that position are phenomenally high. So you're not alone. Feeling that pressure is real. It's a human thing to understand. What I would say is, if you get on an airplane and you sit down and you actually listen to the safety briefing, what they're going to tell you is, if the plane loses oxygen and it gets depressurized, put the oxygen mask on yourself. If you want to be available and you want to help those who depend on you, your loved ones, parents or siblings or children, you can't do that if you're drowning in debt yourself. So one of the things I would say is, it's not selfish to start saving and investing for yourself and making sure you're in a position to be able to help people around you for the decades ahead. Yeah. So if you start, spending every cent that you earn on debt to fund, your loved ones, and you get yourself into a massive debt hole when you become then needing help yourself, then no one's winning. So just be clear in this, that looking after yourself to within reason, making sure that you are provisioning for your financial freedom and your retirement doesn't make you selfish if it allows you then the ability to help others for months and decades a year. So I just want to say, if you're listening and you're feeling that pressure and you're angry with us because we're telling you've got to save and invest and that feels selfish, it's not. No. It's just about getting balance. And that was your comment. Balance is important. And we're giving you frameworks here to make decisions. And maybe the most important thing is make those decisions consciously. Don't just drift from one day to the next, trying to get by without taking control.
Yeah, and I think that's quite important that I've seen with maybe parents that have kids, that it's important to them to want to provide, maybe a tertiary education, a 4-year degree for Pieter and Frikkie, which is great to do, but if it at your own detriment of your own retirement money, and you can't save anything for yourself because you want to provide for their education. No, we understand that is very important, but oxygen mask on yourself first. They will find a way when they get to 18. Maybe they'll get a scholarship. Maybe they have to take a student loan. Maybe they're not going to study in any case. So I think that's, at least from my perspective, what I oftentimes see is people would rather focus on that first before taking care of themselves. But if you do that, yes, maybe you can provide them that 4-year degree, but then you've got nothing to show for it, and then you become dependent. And that's a much deeper hole, I think, to be in. And unfortunately, that could lead to conflict. So thinking about yourself, you're not selfish. You're providing for your own future, for you and your family, whilst maintaining balance between living today, but also taking care of tomorrow, which is an ongoing process. It's a skill you need to learn. If you are young, it's a great skill to start learning to live below your means, save the difference. Even if that's only a couple $100 a month, that's fine, because you start somewhere. It's more the habit, because you'll earn more later on in life, and at some point you maybe be able to make up the deficit later on in life, where cash flow, kids are out of the house is paid off, then you can really start throwing it into retirement. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, but know that it is important to start at least with something.
Neatly said and well wrapped up. I'm Warren.
This is Pieter.
Thank you so much.
The Honest Money podcast is brought to you by Prescient Investment Management. We consider everything to give you the advantage. It's the future of investing. Prescient Investment Management is an authorized FSP.